Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Gotta get better on that switch right there. Welcome to Vash Sky ParkCast. This is such an amazing show, amazing program right here because, well, you make it amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. We have some amazing people in the chat already right now. Disney Fan 55, as you can see right there. We've got, Eric Stratton, OG Dutchy. We've got, what is it? I think, let me see here, Super Dave in the chat as well. Thank you so much for coming on in. I am so excited to have you and talk about what is going to be an amazing show right there, filled with a lot of theme park news. We're just getting everything together right here, making sure that everything looks good. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness gracious. And that Park Place having an amazing show as well. What? Well over 120 memberships. That is absolutely tremendous. Thank you so much for supporting us. Awesome stuff. And please, I'm not asking you to donate or anything like that, but if you could, please hit that subscribe button. Help accelerate our growth right there. That'll be absolutely tremendous. Yeah, for some reason, last live show did unbelievably well, at least after broadcast. And I'm not really sure what that is. There are some additional elements that YouTube has provided content creators to promote themselves. And it's like, okay, let's go ahead and do that. But it really blew me away. So I very much appreciate all of you tuning in after the program, during the program, no matter where you're at. There is appreciation all around. That is absolutely for sure. This program is going to be really interesting. We've got stories ranging from all across the theme park world. Not just Disney stories, but Universal stories as well. Like, hey, maybe your favorite attraction over there at Universal Studios Florida, you know the one I'm talking about right there, might be going down for an extended period of time. That one took a lot of people by surprise. Actually turned up there by Theme Park Wizard. Very interesting stuff. Oh, it looks like we're actually successfully streaming on X as well. That is fantastic. Hello there all. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, maybe E.T. going down for an extended period of time. That's going to be an interesting story to discuss. We also have, maybe some more information regarding Villains Land. That's a really interesting thing that has popped up because you have one side saying, no, this is absolutely not the case. And you have the other side saying that, yes, this is. We'll go ahead and examine that in much more detail. And as we alluded to on that Park Place, Waymo coming to Orlando. What does that mean for Disney? And maybe for your next vacation? We'll talk about that and more. Let's go ahead and bring on somebody who has been extremely helpful for this experience. That is the one, the only Miss Magical MJ. Hello there, MJ. Are you back there?
I'm here. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Happy Wednesday. So exciting.
MagicalyMJ has been doing a tremendous job behind the scenes in order to make this show happen, make this show possible right here. Very cool. MJ, please go ahead and, talk about your social media presence right there and what you're offering guests in the background.
Well, I'm very excited to be part of this amazing panel and be on your channel, Vash. It's a pleasure. I'm on X and Instagram. I do thank you so much for the invite, and I'm on a few shows. It just piles up. I'm like, okay, here I go. To the left, to the left, to the right, to the right, to the front, to the front, to the back, to the side. I'm like everywhere. So I'm very grateful for all the invitations. I'm on Follow the Bradley's Fun. We have The Dish. I believe it has like now 3 shows a week. And then I'm on that Park Place Mondays and Wednesdays at 12. We hang out with Erika and Raph on Fridays right after that Park Place is over. It's just amazing stuff, amazing people. What a fabulous community. Thank you, everyone in the live chat, for your support, your presence. God bless every single one of you. And today's show is gonna rock.
I think it is gonna rock. And you know who might have a hand in making it rock to the extent that possible? Well, is the one, the only, Follow the Bradley's Fun. Ron, hello there, good sir. Come on in. Water's warm.
Where am I?
Which show are you on?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. So wow. No, it's funny. I just finished updating my own outro right? So and
Yeah.
a lot of new members came in the other day. So I'm like, oh, I'll redo the list. Very time consuming. Yeah. So I was trying to chat as much as I could on that Park Place. Hey, text 8412. Hey, text 8412. You're in that list. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Text 8412.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Appreciate the invite and appreciate trying to find it. I'm like, I'm looking for it. There it is. Yay, we found it. So thank you very, very much, Vash. And there is gonna be some things that not during the stream, but I need to pick your brain. There's so much.
Yeah.
Thank goodness we talk about the fun stuff in life, the parks and the pop culture and all of this fun stuff. You know what? I'm glad I don't have to comment on it all.
Sure.
The thing that happened on television last night. I'm glad I don't have to comment on that at all.
Oh, well, that's interesting because we were actually going to do a breakdown. No. I'm not gonna do that. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, very interesting events last night. That is for sure. But man, the theme park world, it's interesting and we've noticed this with like gaming and so forth and other experiences that people are going to, as uncertainty grows, maybe as things, happen in the real life, people are looking for those escapes. They're looking for those kind of that escapist entertainment, let's say, like theme parks, like video games, and we're happy to provide at least part of that here on Vash Sky ParkCast. Let's go ahead and get right into our first story here because I think this one's really a doozy, and it's something that when I saw this update be provided by the Walt Disney Company, it wasn't something I had initially thought of, but a lot of people keyed in on a very specific aspect of this. And as that was drawn to light, it became very obvious, very clear. It's like, whoa, what is actually going on over there at the Mouse House? Are they looking to reduce cast members once again? It would appear so, at least in this particular attraction. Attractions Magazine, Olaf Animatronic coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios. This by Blake Taylor, February 23rd, 2026. A new Olaf Animatronics figure will debut at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World in late summer 2026. The Olaf figure will be part of Olaf Draws, a new attraction debuting inside the Magic of Disney Animation. Disney revealed Olaf Draws on February 23rd, 2026, following the initial summer 2025 announcement of the Magic of Disney Animation at large. Again, the Magic of Disney Animation and this kind of animation, I guess, academy, if you want to go ahead and call it that. This is like the revival of an experience that used to be in this particular space right here, going back to when Disney Hollywood Studios was known as Disney's MGM Studios. So very, very cool stuff, and a lot of people are really excited, but this one definitely took the fan community by surprise. Olaf Draws will be an animation class teaching guests how to draw one of 9 favorite Disney characters. See the full list below. Olaf himself will be a student alongside the guest. The instructor will be a real animator or animation director from Walt Disney Animation Studios, teaching guests via a pre-recorded video. And that's the thing I want to key in on right here, because apparently they're bypassing those cast members who used to teach you how to draw or a video presentation in which now you follow along with animators on a screen and you have Olaf there, and you're trying to draw along, with I guess the group, right? And we've seen this how to draw experience be brought out not just at Disney's Hollywood Studios, but also to Disney's California Adventure. When that park, I believe, opened in 2001 with this experience, and I believe Tokyo has had something similar as well, if I'm not mistaken. But this is the first time I've ever seen them include an audio animatronic character, which I think is good. I think people really like audio animatronics and they love Olaf. But this is definitely the first time that I've seen this be presented without a cast member physically teaching you how to draw right in front of you. And it was always kind of this intimate experience, but now it's going to be video led. And fans are not excited about this. Removal of live artists from new Disney World Animation Academy experience draws backlash. This from Blog Mickey over here, February 23rd, 2026. Earlier today was announced that the Animation Academy experience would be returning to Disney's Hollywood Studios as part of the Magic of Disney Animation. The Magic of Disney Animation is itself part of a rethemed animation courtyard area into the Walt Disney Studios lot themed area. While the return of the Animation Academy would typically be very welcome, the story doesn't stop there. As it turns out, Disney has planned on removing live artists from the reimagined Animation Academy experience, drawing backlash from the fan community. This is not so great. Before we actually go into what fans might be saying about this, I want to get initial reactions from our panelists right here, who have been very gracious in allowing me to set up the story. MJ, Ron, whoever wants to go ahead and chime in, please. What are your initial impressions about this?
I have a lot to say about it, but I'm going to try to shorten it. So as a person who has been visiting MGM, if you will, before it became Hollywood Studios, having an experience like this. So we'll just go from the beginning. They used to have it in Animation Courtyard, and then it was removed, and then they added that later on over at Animal Kingdom. But now with the Bluey and Bingo debut coming out for the Cool Kids Summer in May sometime, and it's going away at Animal Kingdom for a bit. They are replacing human interaction where you can actually, like, say you're an aspiring artist, you're a kid, a teenager, a young adult. It takes away from you being able to actually interact with someone and learning. My fear is this animatronics. I just don't want an Officer Clawhauser situation, because if it goes down, then you're in the middle of drawing something and then it's just not going to go, the show won't go well. So I really hope they make provisions for live cast members that are animators, which costs money. And I want people to understand how much money they're putting into this. This is going to be huge, but we're not excited because it's an animatronic teaching you how to draw. Who wants that? No one. But if they could make provisions to have a backup person in case something goes wrong, because no one wants to learn from a robot on how to draw a character from one of their beloved films that they grew up watching. I think it's going to be fun for kids, but for us adults that have grown up with this franchise and we're used to that one-on-one human interaction, it's going to be difficult for us to really adapt to this and take it in. That's just my opinion on it. But they are dropping a big chunk of dinero for this attraction over in the Animation Courtyard. Ron, did you want to have something to say about it?
My last blog was over at Animal Kingdom, so I have shots of that experience happening with a cast member teaching the pretty good sized crowd, over 100 people, I think, learning how to draw Mickey Mouse. So you can check out that vlog. I wish I could send it. If I would know we were going to do this, I would have sent you some of that footage, Vash. Darn it. Anyhow, so the experience moved from Animation Courtyard over to Animal Kingdom. Now they've gotten rid of it at Animal Kingdom. The last day for that, I believe, was the 22nd of February. And this animatronic that you're seeing right here, that I'm sure is not the animatronic that is actually going to be in the experience, because this is like a walk around thing, right? And you're just talking about an Olaf that sits there at the desk, turns around to talk to the audience, turns back around and makes it look like he's drawing, but probably isn't drawing anything really. And again, the the technical success of animatronics coming out of Disney's Imagineering lately really hasn't been that great. Have you seen the footage of the brand new Anna and Elsa figures that they put into Frozen at Epcot already not working?
Yeah.
We are gonna cover that a little bit more in depth later on the show. But I have.
So
seen
I mean,
that.
they're not producing working animatronics that stay up and running for long periods of time. And that's what like, so aside the fact that they don't have a cast member, and obviously it should be a human being teaching people how to draw, because then you have the live interactions with the audience, something that can be funny. You have, I mean, you know, I'm not going to blame Bob Chapek, because I have no idea what kind of orders he was under when he first got the job. But like as Disney World started coming back from the closures, they just seemed to cut and cut and cut everywhere they could cast members. We've seen it in maintenance, we've seen it in entertainment, and we've seen it in this. And I don't even know what this role is called. I don't know if it fits into entertainment or whatever, but it's really annoying. I just think of the street atmosphere in Hollywood, that's all gone. Same thing on Main Street USA and the Magic Kingdom, that's all gone. They don't have one of my friends used to do the show for the Excalibur, pulling out the sword and the stone. They don't do that show anymore. That's cut. It's just I don't know. It seems like if they can't have the cast member be monetized in some way, they're taking it away. It's just, I don't know. It's very, very troublesome that they're doing this, because I mean this is all clearly about budget cuts, and I hate to see that. And maybe they wouldn't have to have so many budget cuts if they, I don't know, produced successful movies.
I mean, that's the thing, Ron, is that with every single flop at the box office, those losses have to be felt somewhere, right? You have to make up for those, especially when it comes to quarterly reports and everything else. So what do? You cut the parks, or maybe you increase prices, combination of both. And it's just really sad that, like you said, Ron, cast members keep getting affected by these moves in a way that shouldn't happen. I want to go ahead and bring on somebody who just joined us, and Erika from Erika and Ref. Hello there.
Hello.
How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining us. I want to go ahead and include you in this conversation, Erika, because I think this is really, really profound. Now, Disney just announced a new Animation Academy experience in which you learn to draw. We have seen those at Walt Disney World. In fact, I think in Walt Disney World, we've seen that two places, right? I think in both Animal Kingdom and Disney Hollywood Studios. But we've also seen those all around the world as well. Disney California Adventure, I believe Tokyo. Anyway, now you have kind of version 2.0, as they have announced not only will this whole experience be revamped with new characters and so forth, but an Olaf Animatronic will also be part of this whole thing. But at the expense, it would appear, of live cast members teaching you how to draw, instead opting for a video from real animators who have contributed to Disney's productions, no question about that, but recordings. And so people have been not too kind to Disney upon hearing this announcement. So I want to go ahead and bring some of those up real fast, and I'll go ahead and throw it to you, Erika, on your opinion on this matter, because this is very interesting. Okay. So these are replies to the official X post announcing this whole new experience, right? And I don't know if my feed is curated, not sure, but these were some of the top replies that I saw to that post. You can see right here from Alonzo Torreon, I believe. Come on, why all this negativity? So they went with Olaf doesn't bother me. I'm still stoked to find out when Moda will open and check it out when the time comes. The reason why he's saying that is because there's a lot of negativity, like Adam right here. So an animatronic fake drawing to a pre-recorded video. Yikes. Not good. It's from Chen's. Disappointing. Take the cast member interaction out and replace it with a generic show. Another way to not pay a cast member and water down experiences par for the course in a post-COVID Disney. A lot of people have noticed some degradation of the experience following that event. Patrick Young could have been so much better with a real live cast member. I do agree, for sure. Xbox for Life says, no alive artists anymore. More layoffs, sadly. A lot of people put in the, connecting the pieces right there. Lauren says, the whole point of this activity is doing it with a live artist, not a video that I can eventually find on YouTube. What's next? Inviting us to all AI generate pictures with a tablet from a prompt given by an animatronic. That might be version 3 for this experience. We'll see. Craig Mahoney says, this could have been really great with a constantly flubbing Goofy or increasingly flustered Donald animatronic alongside a live cast member teaching, but what we got is typical of the, quote, bleed every modern IP to death, cheap out on cast members and unique individual experiences. Disney, not good. Ruffman says, I am so tired of Olaf. There are so many other characters Disney can use, but y'all keep pushing the snowman on him. He was fun when the first movies came out. And it just goes on and on and on. But this one's really interesting here. Requiem Bell. No, I want to draw from with an actual animator and be able to see them at work and see how animation actually works. Like in the 1990s when you had the Peter Pan pre-show with Robin Williams and Walter Cronkite, like that. Yeah, and I guess there will be references to that original short film that used to play in front of this experience. But Erika, people not pleased at all by this decision. I mean, yeah, okay, we're getting a new audio animatronic. That's great. But at the expense of a live cast member, I mean, this was, like I said, a very, not only interactive, but a very intimate experience with somebody who kind of knew their stuff. And now you're taking that away, diminishing the experience, at least in the minds of these guests. What's your take on all this?
Ooh, this really burns me up and hits kind of home in a way. I grew up in that era when we had the animation studio there at MGM Studios, and we got to meet a real animator who would draw for us. And I remember this one experience where they would actually take questions from the kids. And I was the one in the back who raised my hand and asked, where did you go to school?
Oh, that's so cool.
I was in 6th grade, and I really wanted to be an animator.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Like the aspiring artist, they're taking away that feel.
And that was one of the premises of bringing this there, was to promote animators, to promote a future, those future dreamers. That was what Disney was for so long. Their identity was, because they were the leaders in all of these industries, of engineering and entertainment, which entertainment also encompasses animation. And, and it was just, it really, as a kid or even a young adolescent, by the time you're hitting those middle school years, your teachers are really asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are your interests? And you go to a place like Disney, and my gosh, I don't know why all of a sudden now what's with the gatekeeping here? So do you not want kids to explore any future, dreams and employment with you? I mean, and even up to recently, I had one of my own teens in our youth ministry who was very open about wanting to be an Imagineer. And I pulled that teen to the side and have a conversation with him because I have a family member who was kind of in that department. And I was able to guide them on a really good school to go to and possibly a degree that they could pursue, and some other advice. But, no matter where Disney sits in its reputation, the name still holds. There are people out there, kids and teens, that are interested in these fields. Actually, my son, Christian, he just a few weeks ago, or just last week, one of his friends is currently in an internship program with Disney, and he's pursuing a degree in engineering.
That's amazing.
And so I'm just sitting here like, why are you doing this? Why are you not opening the door to kids to dream and to chase their dream with you. Isn't that your whole freaking premise? Like, I don't know what Disney's turned into now, but it's really disappointing. And
it obviously comes down to cost. It would cost them a fortune to have an animator that went to school, their salary, having them there Monday through 365 days of, it's a lot.
It used to be beyond that once upon a time. It used to be about the dreamers and the dream. And it was beyond just what looked good on a spreadsheet. That's what Walt was all about. He wasn't about the spreadsheets, Right. He was about the human person and the human experience, from all facets of life, from history to the present to the future. And Disney has, they're chipping away at that. And now they're really taking another dig. And it's like, well, how do you expect these kids to even, ask questions? I was at least given the opportunity as a sixth grader to ask that question. Hey, where did you go to school? And what types of classes did you take? Because that was what I was, at the age of 11, 12, you're kind of wanting to gauge, well, maybe I'll go to school where they went to school, and I'll take those classes that they took and I'll learn, to be an animator, and where are kids going to ask those questions now? What, just a random, cast member that's cleaning trash? You expect a kid to approach them, to be like, hey, I want to be an animator. What does it take to be an animator around here?
They're going to have to make provisions because like all the animatronics, they have their failures, they have their glitches. And if this thing decides to go down mid-show, they're going to have a backup of some sort.
It's going to happen.
Right.
They cannot build an animatronic nowadays to save their lives. And everybody knows that this is going to fail. And they need to go back to, the human experience, and that, what Disney brought into the theme park world went beyond just corporate and spreadsheets and what was cheap.
Right.
Absolutely. There's no question about that.
I'm wondering, do they still have the cast member at Art of Animation that they used to sit there and do that? There's at least one at one of the shops at Disney Springs at the Art of Disney, I think. I've seen several artists across property that are oftentimes drawing sometimes very, very intricate animation type drawings. And they're not teaching a class, but people can kind of watch them up close. And it just makes me wonder really what they're doing. Also, I'm assuming that they got Josh Gad's voice before he met his demise in Wonder Man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really inside joke you have to have seen. You have to be one of the 3 people that actually watched Wonder Man to know what that means.
And I'm just wondering why they went with Olaf, because I get that in Hollywood studios you can meet and greet Olaf. They already have a meet and greet with Olaf in Hollywood studios. I'm just wondering, why did they decide to choose a character from a film that's a snowman to teach you how to draw when there's so many other characters they could have gone with? I don't know.
Josh Gad, as you can see, lending his vocal talents in the recording booth right there, always up for stuff like this. But I think too, MJ, they just what is it? Imagined, I guess, imagineered new Olaf animatronics for pairs, right? The walk around characters, and so you already have those molds. You already are familiar with how an animatronic like this works. To have him sitting down in a position in which he's drawing, I would think that wouldn't require that much R&D or investment. And this is a smaller experience, so you're looking to make it as economical as possible. I think that's why he was included in that. I think look at this realistically. I think that's what happened here. Ron, you provided some footage here in the background. I want to go ahead and Now, give it over to you. What are we looking at here with what you provided?
Yeah. All right. So this is in the closing weeks. This is exactly what experience they're replacing. As you can see, that is a cast member's hand that's doing the drawing there. And it's not the greatest footage because that wasn't really what I was particularly focusing on, but you see over the right, those are all the people that are looking at that. There's probably more to it that I wasn't able to quite clip and send you on the fly like this, but they are taking the class. And you can see right behind the desk there, I'm pointing at it like the audience can see it, but the cast member is drawing, and they have a headset on like this, but with a microphone, walking around, talking to the audience, interacting with them as they're drawing. They were drawing a Mickey Mouse. They were, the standard Mickey Mouse. And each person then, of course, gets to keep their drawing, but if they're doing the same type of experience, but they're doing it with an animatronic. Do you see the person that just raised their hand over there in the right-hand corner? How's an animatronic going to answer questions unless they have it? I mean, the only other thing that I could see that like to do a question and answer is you actually do have a cast member who can do Olaf's voice, and then they have a setup like they do at like Nemo, not Nemo, Crush, Turtle Talk with Crush. But it doesn't sound like that's the way they're going with this. This whole experience here at Animal Kingdom, the way it's set up, this is all going away. A cast member told me that basically everything that you see in there, except for the windows and the veterinary clinic, will be changed.
They're not going to have a Q&A. Let's just be real. They're going to have the little drawing session, and then they're going to herd everybody out like a pack of elephants. Push them in, push them out. And that's all it's going to be. And, someone brought up in chat, Albertus Magnus, or I don't know if I'll just read it from my screen. I recently did an animation class at DCA with my daughter and grandsons. It was magical if taught by a machine and not an artist. It will be less than a YouTube video. And that kind of, that's another thing, is that this experience is bringing something that people can just go online on a YouTube video, because there are other people that can draw. I have a young niece who can draw, without tracing. I mean, she can draw like what you're seeing up there. And you have people on YouTube that do that. There are artists with their own YouTube channels, and that's their niche. That's their content. So Disney's not really delivering anything special. And I hate that they are just gatekeeping the opportunity for youth to envision and dream about a career. That is what really gets me. That is the heart of it for me, because I know what that felt like for me.
This feels like they're cheaping out the same way that they cheaped out for the Villains show, which I think could have it had the possibility of being a really good show, but you only have 3 live actors and characters in that. And I would have loved to have seen a villain show, but I want to see a live Dr. Facilier. I want to see a live Gaston. I want to see a live, hire real people, get bodies in there. The human connection is so important in any of these interactive type of situations. And that's Disney. Every place that Disney can take away a human interaction, they're doing it, and it's not good. It's it's what used to make Disney such a different company than everybody else, especially when it came to live entertainment. And yeah, of course, Disney's always been known for animatronics, but they're also known for live entertainment and live entertainers and people that you could interact with. And, the ones that are there, I think they still do a great job. I have a lot of friends that work in entertainment at Disney, and God bless them. I think that they're fantastic, but there should be more of them. And I don't like that Disney is cutting corners.
Yeah, it's a shame it's a shame. No, please, Vash.
No, it's an extreme shame, because I think, you brought up Walt earlier. I believe believe Erika did. And Walt understood the value of cast members. You know, he understood the value of, yeah, I mean, people can imagine dreams, but it takes really talented people to make them, right? Or to manifest them, I guess, is the modern terminology there, right? It takes amazing people to make these experiences, and especially for a show like this, to make it memorable, to make it unique, one of a kind, to make it something that you can visit over and over again, is that interaction with those cast members, is that interaction with people, you know, setting you up to draw a character, which does, you know, offer some variety in the experience, but the real variety comes from that unique, you know, one-on-one interaction. I mean, close to one-on-one as possible, but that unique, intimate interaction with that cast member in that specific field right there. It's very sad that they would want to undo that in this way. But look, we've just been seeing this over and over and over again. This diminishment of the experience, simply because, you know, we've got to make up for the losses that we've incurred in the studio division, or we have to maximize the amount of revenue generation that comes from the experiences division. Hey, maybe that's, you know, it got Josh the top spot. Not saying that, you know, it didn't work out for him. It's not working out for us, and people have noticed.
It's not a very good look for Josh, though. Joshy boy, he starts sitting down on March 18th, and we're already getting an animatronic teaching people how to draw in Hollywood studios that used to be MGM studios. I mean, what is he really thinking? He's not gaining anybody's trust, or he's not creating a good reputation, if you will. Yeah. This is not a good start for him at all.
He's not doing anything revolutionary that us Disney fans with kids and grandkids can react to. Oh, there is hope for this company after all. You're pulling it off the respirator, or you're resuscitating it in some way. And I am not seeing, even on the early onset of him stepping into this role, you know, that indicates any real change is going to happen, which I think it's safe to say everyone here is pretty much got very low expectations, you know?
Is that like a personal attack or something?
Yeah, it is.
Good point.
And Josh.
Yeah.
And if I met the man in the park, I literally look at him and I'd gaslight the heck out of him. I'd be like, what are you doing?
He's living up. He's living up to his name, Erika. He's just joshing us.
I tell him to stop being a cheap
joshing around.
Jeez. You're like, were you raised by Cubans? Because you sure are making decisions like you were raised by one. Oh, you're cutting corners and cheapening the human experience. Yeah, don't get me started. Do not put me in the same room with that man. I would rip him a new one. I'd tell him, go ahead and escort me out of here. If you can't take criticism, why are you here?
Yeah, it's really sad, and so many people, you know, they crowd around him and they want his picture and everything like that.
I don't want a picture with him. I just want to rip his. Anyway.
Well, and that's. There you go. That's Josh leaving the station to get away from Erika right there. He doesn't want any part of that. But look, I think these are valid criticisms, and yeah, you do have to be open to concerns from guests and everything else. But Josh Giamaro, you know, I've seen a lot of presentations with him because obviously I'm doing that upcoming video. What's very profound is a lot of times he'll you know, stop and say, hey, you know, let's go ahead and thank our cast members right there, and the whole crowd will clap and so forth. But it's like, when you do stuff like this, and here's the thing, folks, you know, let's extrapolate this out. You know, a lot of people feel that Josh Giamaro is kind of pro-creative when it comes to the AI question, right? Well, look, we just had somebody's job be taken away by basically the onset of technology. What does that mean for the greater company when it comes to the implementation of AI? Will there be more people replaced? You know, animators that are working currently at the Disney studio that might be replaced by the onset of this technological storm that we've been seeing here. I don't know. We're seeing it in the small scale. Hopefully we don't see that in the large scale. But Josh Giamaro not making the greatest case for himself when things like this occur under his division right here. Maybe he's far removed from this decision. I'm not sure. But the outcry has been extremely loud and extremely vocal. No good. No good. Don't like that at all. But very interesting stuff going on in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. I think we have, wow, well over 200 of you out there on both X and on YouTube. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. Hey, if you could, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That would help us out tremendously when it comes to, trying to build up this channel. And the eventual goal is monetization. But all of those, the little small things you do, whether it be leaving a comment or subscribe, that will help us out in a big way. Thank you so much for all of the support so far. Let's go ahead and go over to something else. Something not being maybe supported right now is at least Walt Disney World, especially by international tourists, but maybe domestic tourists as well. And this is in lieu of the whole region of Florida actually experiencing an attendance boon when it comes to theme parks. There you go. This is by Jonas J. Campbell, but let's go ahead and read the initial tweet right here. Florida tourism industry, February 23rd. Preliminary data from Visit Florida shows that Florida welcomed a record-breaking 143.3 million visitors in 2025 and posted its highest fourth quarter ever with 33.5 million travelers. Again, this fourth quarter is the same quarter that Disney reported that they were maybe up by 1% in 2025, but in 2024, they actually posted that they were down 2%. So this is very interesting right here. So if we go to the 10Q on Disney's recent quarter, again, their fiscal year starts October 1st. So Florida's quarter 4 would be Disney's Q1 fiscal year 2026. I know it's confusing, but if you see right here, this is the 10Q. If you look at the parks right here, increase, decrease, look at attendance. Yes, up 1% from 2024, but 2024 was down. I'm sorry, it's okay. That quarter, they are down 2% from 2024, and even though they're posting a 1% increase right there, they're still net negative when it comes to the overall attendance picture, and that is no good. That's not where you want to be. So where did Florida experience this tremendous quarter, this tremendous growth? Where is this coming from? We know exactly where it's coming from, folks. It's coming from Epic Universe. Yes, a lot of people felt, hey, you know what? Why would you build a new gate in Florida? The population can't necessarily support it, right? Well, this was based off of the experience that Disney had at Animal Kingdom back in the 1990s. When that park opens in 1998, they expected that travelers coming in would extend their vacations in order to see the new park. But in fact, the American vacation didn't actually grow during that time. What people did was they took a day off of like Magic Kingdom or Epcot to visit the new park. So in terms of attendance growth, right, it didn't really occur because people just kind of maintained the length of their vacations and shortened other days from other parks. Now, again, that was back in 1998. We're what, 28 years removed or so from that opening, and we've seen the population of the United States, I think, like over double. It's crazy. But we've also seen the onset of international travelers to this region. So there are some out there saying, hey, this area will support another gate. It just has to have big demand, and we saw that with Epic Universe. We saw the quarters from NBC Universal Comcast. They're saying, hey, we are getting 25% gains in terms of revenue in some of these quarters. Again, all additive. It's not coming at the cost of attendance for their other parks. They are just simply adding to the attendance of Universal Orlando Resort in a big way. These numbers showcase it. Guys, Disney down, Universal up. Big story for the region. Your thoughts, please.
It's kind of obvious. I mean, it's the brand new park that Universal opened it's epic. So and it really is. I think that Disney made a lot of mistakes even when they opened Animal Kingdom. I think advertising it as not a zoo, which was like their whole big campaign, I don't think that was actually a great idea because it kind of is a zoo. It's actually in the National Zoological Parks, whatever. It and uh, and what they should have done was put an emphasis on, even back then with the way they advertised it, they should have put an emphasis on, hey, you get to, for the first time ever, you're not going on Jungle Cruise and seeing the fake animatronic animals, you're seeing real animals up close with the safari. It could have been an amazing experience. I think that there's some mismanagement back then when they first opened Animal Kingdom. People even to this day don't really understand all of the experiences that can be had in Animal Kingdom. It's got the best shows. It has, animal attractions. You could spend all day just watching the gorillas or the tiger back there. And by the way, if you go on the trail in Animal Kingdom to see the tigers and you see how intricately detailed the Imagineering, the theming is just in that trail alone, it's just amazing. You can spend all day walking around the Tree of Life and like numbering off the different animals that you see. There's so much to do. Like I said, mismanaged. This park, Epic Universe, there's a couple of things that have happened over the past few years is that I think one in general, the trust that families have in the Disney brand has declined a great deal. We know that from polling data. And we've seen that in the polling data. Disney has done some things that have made, trust in the company, especially from the perspective of the traditional family outlook, has declined. That's just flat out true. Universal, I don't think has that problem because it wasn't something that they had built into their brand before that, hey, this is always going to be 100% a safe space for families. And they didn't have a princess brand. They didn't have, it wasn't in what people looked for when they went to Universal. And I think that as audiences are growing and things are changing with theme parks and what people want in theme parks, you have a brand new park in Epic Universe that's completely immersive. You had incredibly good marketing for that park, not just in the branding of the park and helping people understand what that was, but also in the marketing of the ticket sales. They said, hey, you want to buy a ticket to Epic that first year? I don't know how many months they did it for, but they say, hey, you got to buy tickets to Universal as well. If you want to buy an Epic ticket, you got to get Universal and Islands of Adventure in there. So people were doing that. They're like, hey, we want to come. We want to see this in the first year that it's open. So we'll go to all three. That's gotten that attendance up at the Universal parks as well. Not just Epic, but Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios proper. And I think that as people see the quality, yes, and I'll be honest with you, there are the downfalls of Epic is that it's gotten really busy. Ministry of Magic has had issues. There's been some definite issues with that. But overall, what people are seeing in the engineering, the quality of the park itself, just walking around, just being in Celestial Park, the quality of the food that has increased tremendously at Universal to kind of come up to the level of Disney food and in some cases overstep it. It's great. It's really good to have. I think the competition, what I hope that it does is that it opens Disney's eyes to some problems that they themselves within the company have created the last few years, because maybe they can overcome them and maybe we actually get two sets of awesome parks that 10, 15, 20 years in the future, our kids and grandkids can actually enjoy without the issues that we're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. I mean, Universal, I think you make a great point, Ron. Universal in years past had struggled with maybe 4-quadrant entertainment, right? And that kind of changed, I think, with Harry Potter, right? In 2010, now it's like, okay, we have a franchise that we can feature. We have 4-quadrant appeal, and it blew everybody's socks off. But they still lacked, I think, interest from little kids. Now, what you're seeing on the screen right there, I think changed that dynamic once again. Now they have an area of this new Epic Universe in which appeals directly to children. And now you're hitting 4 quadrant in a lot of these parks in a way that you never previously had before. Super big stuff. MJ, Erika, let's go ahead and get you in the conversation right here. What do you guys think about Universal's meteoric rise actually impacting attendance for the entire area of Florida?
I think we kind of saw this coming when Epic was being built. We kind of forecasted it, so it's not really of any surprise. And then, another thing too, and that Florida has so much more to offer than just theme parks. People, I don't think the beach vacation industry or the cruise line industry for that matter has really taken much of a hit. If anything, it's increased, especially the cruise lines. They keep building ships across the board with all the companies, from Royal Caribbean to Disney. They just keep, every year there's a new ship coming out, it seems, and which only indicates that it's booming. The industry is booming, which brings Florida tourism up. And if you're not, I know what like Theme Park Worldwide, for example, Sean and Charlotte have went on back-to-back cruises recently, but in that time they're also staying at a hotel in Miami or in Fort Lauderdale, to pass the time, and they're getting out and exploring Miami and the Cuban culture, and that's basically Florida culture. So you have a lot of that going on too, and it's kind of fun to watch, and I hope that Disney is taking notes on this, but it's really no surprise.
Well, that's a great point. I'm so glad you brought up cruises, because yes, I do agree with you. I think cruise line has been just tremendous, especially for the Florida region in general. I remember talking to a hospitality industry expert, and he was saying, look, hotel occupation is up. But we saw over the summer, right? Disney's attendance wasn't looking good. So where were people going? A lot of people were going, yes, to Epic, but they were also doing the cruise lines. Yes, and this is why Disney has doubled down, tripled down on this, because the cruise industry has just exploded, and we're actually seeing a little bit of an arms race. It's a story that I've been following for a little while, but we're seing an arms race of cruise liners come from the big cruise companies, which is tremendous growth.
I'm a little mad and bitter about DCL right now, because their largest cruise ship, the Adventure, is sailing out of Singapore.
It really is, but that's rivaling Royal Caribbean.
It's supposed to be the largest. I think even larger than the Royal Caribbean Icon.
All I know is RDJ is the godfather, and he christened it.
Yeah, I
did see that. Yeah,
having at the point that we were stationed in Okinawa, and I was really kind of surprised that there were no ports or docks for cruise ships, to bring in, some tourism and even income into the island, and to explore, other areas of Asia. Well, now there is, and so hearing that Disney is going to have this massive ship in the Asian, I keep wanting to call it PACAF, that's what we call it in the military, that area of the world. But to have that in the Asian market, I think is a smart business move. And I'm excited for them. If anything, it entices us to book an Asian vacation. Go back to Okinawa and go visit, again, since we haven't been there in years.
Of course.
And maybe
it's easier now than ever to cross the pond. Look at what they're doing with the flights for Japan. You can fly from Orlando to Japan. They're making it seamless and easily accessible for people to get over to that side of the world. And that side of the world is booming with Disneyland over in Japan. You got what is it called, Vash? Tokyo Disney Sea or
Tokyo Disney Seas.
It's amazing. And it's way the quality is way better than the ones that we have in the domestic parks.
Of course.
And it's
cheaper.
that adventurer ship, they have really amazing deals. Yes, the port is out of Singapore, but a lot of people want a really good experience. Those cruise line the cruise line is knocking it out of the park with entertainment. They are killing it with entertainment. I don't know the casting calls, how that works out with DCL, but it's absolutely astronomical. That Moana show is like nothing ever
Huge.
that's been, no one, they have never put a production like that together. If you haven't, I don't think you're allowed to record when you're in that theater, but
No.
there's
no,
snippets of it. It's just out of this world. You really have to go experience that. And quite frankly, I would rather go on DCL than go to Hollywood Studios and watch the Villains show, which is very cheaped out, dumbed down show. It was not great. It was okay. It's a nice time killer if you want to be in the
Yeah.
AC. I just feel like it's too much Olaf in the park, and I can go on and on and on. Olaf is everywhere in Hollywood
The
Studios.
Hercules production also too, I believe, on the Destiny Treasure. Can't remember. That has had rave reviews from people who have actually seen it. Yeah, entertainment, definitely a stalwart for the cruise line, not so much in the parks, which is very sad. I was hoping Thomas Moslem would bring a little bit of that signature experiences mindset to the Disneyland Resort. Haven't seen that quite yet. That's a shame. But yeah, in the Disney Adventure, I mean, that's serving an area that they never entered before. So they want to go ahead and definitely service that Asian market, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. And especially with that cruise line that they actually acquired during the Pop JPEG era and totally reimagined and reworked. Very interesting stuff. But with this onset, this onslaught of all these people coming from around the world to the Orlando area, and this is very interesting too, in that Visit Florida report, it said that I think over 90% of the people visiting Florida were domestic, the rest being international. International hasn't quite yet recovered, and but when it does, I mean, what are people going to opt for? They're going to opt for, Walt Disney World that hasn't changed much in maybe, 30 years, or are they going to opt for a new experience like Epic Universe? I think we know the answer to that question. But to service all these guests coming into the Florida area, one company, well, they're bringing their operations to the region. Waymo! Self-driving cars arrive in Orlando. Shannon Ace, February 24th, 2026, by Walt Disney World News Today. Waymo has introduced its self-driving ride-hailing service to Orlando, as well as Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. This brings Waymo's total commercial metro areas to 10. Now, they're very clear that this Waymo implementation does not yet include Walt Disney World or MCU. That's not great. You would think that they would definitely get those on board. Apparently, there are some mapping issues with that. But I think they did allude to the service expanding to allow for the hailing from those destinations to those destinations, from those places to those. Okay. Well, anyway, you get my point. I think this service is growing. Guys, what do you feel? How do you feel that this will revolutionize transportation in this area? I mean, Waymo is a huge deal right here. Now I see Waymo vehicles around my area all the time. For them to be coming to Florida with, I think, Jaguar, which is interesting. This is a big time news story, guys. Your thoughts?
Are these the driverless taxi cabs?
Yeah.
Yes. So you can
I'm not
weird.
going to be that guinea pig.
Yeah, no, I've seen them around town. Like I've seen plenty of these, and I thought because they look a lot also like the Google Maps vehicles that make the ones that go around and make the maps.
I've seen those.
And I'm like, it's just, I don't know. And like until we get the Total Recall Johnny Cab guy, I don't really want to go in it. I want my Johnny Cab guy who turns around. Like I love that guy. Total. Yeah. Anybody who here has seen Total Recall knows what I'm talking about. Like the beginning of the old movie Total Recall. It's so funny.
The old Total Recall. Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen that film, and I don't understand the reference, but. Look, there's the driverless cab in the beginning, but it's got like an animatronic driver, and he's got like a jokey face, and it's just weird. I'm thinking, okay, so we've got this now. You know what I've heard too? I've heard that it won't be maybe 5-10 years, a decade at the most, before we get the same style of transportation, but that they are
I don't know what you call them, roadable air vehicles that are like, they're built like drones, and they'll be able to fly you places without a pilot. And I'm like, that's scary. It's all get out. Like,
it's
I'm
scary
not
enough on
going
the
to be
ground. I
that
don't know if I'm doing the air.
1% that gets into an accident or a crash because someone somewhere decided this would be a really cool idea. I'm sorry. I have trust issues with putting that much technology. I'm already putting my life into somebody else's hands on a roller coaster, and that comes with its own risks.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, and I already kind of a little bit white knuckle it when I fly. You know, I tolerate it. It's not my favorite thing. But then you want to get me in a car that drives itself? Yeah, no.
Are they using
the video here.
using Jaguars? Is that true?
Yes, you can see the.
Oh my gosh.
So in the video that we're showing right now, sometimes there will be some shots that include the steering wheel. You can see the Jaguar logo prominently. It is an association with them, which is very, very interesting. Well, and here's the thing.
That's because they're broke and they need the money.
Oh, of course. That's a fantastic point. And it's one that we definitely had all on our minds right here. I want to showcase this because Pixar's Hoppers recently had their premiere in Hollywood at the El Capitan Theater. And you can see this right here, maybe alluding to the future of the participation between these two companies. Waymo is a marketing partner for Pixar's Hoppers. This is Waymo's first ever movie collaboration. Can we expect Hoppers or other type of Disney brand Waymo vehicles on Walt Disney World property? It would seem that the associations are already being made, especially with Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro now taking the helm. You know, obviously he understands the impact of that the parks make to the bottom line and how important transportation is. So maybe, I don't know, LiDAR-empowered minivans? Not sure. Go ahead.
Let me tie this into what we talked about previously, and that is the fact that Disney loves the opportunity to cut cast members. And right now, the minivans...
Boom!
All those minivan drivers do not work for Lyft. They actually are Disney cast members who, with some type of a cooperation effort through Lyft. So I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I know that the minivans themselves are owned by Disney. Disney cast members drive them, and then they have a partnership with Lyft so that people can use the Lyft app to get a minivan or however that works. Anyway, that's all, money juggling stuff. But this is a huge, I would not be surprised if we see minivans transfer to Waymos in the next 5 years, and all of those cast members are completely eliminated.
I don't even book the minivan because it's so expensive. Do you know the daily rate for a car rental is as cheap as like $35 a day?
Yeah,
right.
You can rent a car cheaper than you can get an Uber or a Lyft. And you get your freedom with that price tag, by the way. You can come and go as you please, go wherever you want. You want to go to, the Aldi's down the road or Publix, because you don't want to spend the money at freaking Emirates or wherever. You've got that freedom. You cannot, you cannot put a price on freedom. I like my freedom. We rent cars.
I like my freedom as well, Erika. And that's why, when visiting Walt Disney World back in 2023, we did opt for a rental car. But it's not just Disney cast members that might be affected by this. Already you're seeing Uber and Lyft drivers kind of speak out vocally against the implementation of these vehicles right here. But Ron, could you imagine a possibility, a future in which maybe Disney buses are autonomous as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you've got anything that they can get rid of cast members and autonomous, whatever, robotize, they'll do. And look, Disney cast members, the buses get in accidents all the time. They really do. I don't know how many a day, but they
they drive kind of crazy.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They
those
speed
drivers, they go quick, and they
remember
whip around those corners
with Keanu Reeves. That's what it reminds me of every time I'm in one of those. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. But the thing is, if they can automate it, they will automate it. If they can anything that they can do I believe, if I remember correctly, the bus system at Disney World is around the same size, maybe even slightly larger than the city of St. Louis. I saw that once because I'm like, and it caught my eye because I'm, from St. Louis, and I'm like, the fleet of buses. It's huge, and
It's
so
huge. Yeah.
And Universal also has similar bus transportation now, and you use that to get back and forth. They're talking to Elon about digging a tunnel so that we have tunnel transportation between Universal and Epic. We're seeing some changes that, in a lot of ways, I kind of think they're good changes, because in my lifetime, the one thing I've always kind of complained about with technology is that we see so much technological advancement in so many other things other than transportation. I thought by now we'd have maglevs and flying cars everywhere. And when it comes to transportation, it's generally speaking the same as it always has been. It does look like they're trying to keep road technology, in other words, concrete and asphalt, about the same as it always has been. The what was that thing that they tried to come up with about 10 years ago? Those solar roadways, solar freaking roadways. That didn't work out too well, so we don't have those. It's just interesting to see this technology developing and changing. I actually was an Uber driver for 6 months, and I did it full time. And you use your own car for that. And I found out that because I was using my own car, it really wasn't worth it. It puts so much mileage and wear and tear on your car, and you don't make enough money to really get that back. That it gives you the money up front, but you end up paying it back for like just cars and maintenance and gas and tires and everything else. And then it completely devalues your vehicle so quick that honestly, there's the fact of the matter is, when it comes to the future, when it comes to AI, when it comes to cars, when it comes to everything, we are all going to have to figure out different ways to make a living. I think it's everywhere. It's almost any industry you're going to have to figure out is what I'm doing now going to be valid for a human being to be able to do in 5 or 10 years. Live entertainment.
This is why AI is taking off, unfortunately, because Hollywood is failing so bad that AI people are making their own movies. YouTubers are making their own films. And that Iron Lung you said was done by a YouTuber, right, Ron? Is that what you said? These people are really coming up to the horizon. So I don't know. But yeah, people are going to have they're going to have to look at other angles and different ways to make a living. And it's a shame. It's like a bully system, right? It pushes you out. And you've been a driver for so many years and depending on it. But personally, just like everyone else on this panel, pretty much we would prefer to have an actual live person driving a vehicle, not a self-driving vehicle. That's so sketchy. I just can't. I cannot do it. I'm not going to do it. For one, love the buses at Disney. I'm sorry, Ron.
I have been witness to a self-driving car. Like, I've actually seen them in person. I've seen the Teslas drive themselves and stuff, and it's pretty wild to watch to be waiting for a car and it comes by to pick you up, but there's no driver. It's like, this is so weird. But society keeps adjusting to these things over time, and I think that's going to happen. Yeah. When it comes to what like theme parks and stuff are delivering, again, it goes back to when you are delivering something to humans, that human to human contact. Let me put it this way. It's the difference between sitting in a massage chair and having a human being massage you. Those two elements, they're doing the same job, but the human contact, there is no substitute for that. There's an energy exchange. It's very, very difficult to describe because it's ethereal. It goes above and beyond just our regular senses. And I think that's what you're missing out on, whether it comes to Olaf teaching a drawing class that a human should be teaching, or a driver driving you down the road, or a pilot, or whatever, that human contact is like really, really important. And you know, we're missing out on it.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, and I don't like where the company is headed when it comes to, automation, AI implementation, audio animatronics replacing cast members. Not looking so good right there. I'm hoping to get more interactivity with real live people. Hoping to see more live entertainment. Keeps the experience fresh. Keeps the experience especially relevant years on in. I'm reminded of like Waterworld at Universal Studios, for instance. It's like that movie came out, crashed and burned at the box office, and yet people still come back in droves to see that show at Universal Studios Hollywood over there in LA, California. And it's like why do people keep coming back? It's because the performers really do an incredible job right there. I mean, if that was a video presentation, it would have been out probably in within the year, maybe even shorter. But it has endured for like 30 years or something like that. It's just crazy how long that's outlived its original IP that it's based on. But it just goes to show the importance of live entertainment, the importance of live cast members, team members, whatever you want to call them. Really, really good stuff. Waymo coming to the Florida area right here, already on the scene. We'll have to keep an eye on how this develops right here. When it's implemented in Walt Disney World, it's going to be absolutely huge. Erika, go ahead and round us out for this topic.
I just had a funny thought, because we all know how terrible the driving is in Florida, from Orlando to Tampa.
I have seen this.
You know what? I think I'm going to hit up this YouTuber, Southern Life. I'm going to hit him up and I'm going to ask, hey, you know what? When they just drive around Orlando and see if you can catch one of these things getting into an accident, because that would be not funny. Funny.
I have seen some Waymo stuff, some really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Gonna get
now
you.
That's
get
even
you,
funnier to get pulled over and there's nobody driving. What
exactly?
That has happened before.
What does the cop do at that point?
That has happened.
Registration, please.
Does the police department have like an app they refer to, and they file a complaint with the?
So every single Waymo vehicle is supposed to be serviced by like a virtual, kind of technician or whatever, or programmer that can be communicated with by local law enforcement if something goes wrong. That has happened before. Like it won't understand, let's say, construction, and so it'll go into zoned off areas or whatever, and so local PD will have to contact obviously Waymo and get that adjusted. These things do happen. It's LiDAR, it's not perfect, but we're seeing big implementation of all of this stuff. Very interesting. As by the way, boring. Just got the initial approvals from the city of Orlando, I believe, in order to maybe facilitate transportation on Universal's theme park resort. We will see where that goes eventually. Let's see. MJ, we got somebody in the chat there.
Oh, it's just that they said in Vegas they have issues with people not closing the doors, and then the car is stuck and they can't leave. Holy cow. That's scary. Yeah, that is so scary.
That's no good. We don't want that. But what we do want is Villains Land. Oh yes, we're coming back to this story because I think this is very fascinating. We now have two sides of this whole thing playing out right here. We have now more details provided by Len Testa on what he heard, and we have another kind of I guess Disney oriented blog saying, hey, not true. So you remember there was a report out, this published February 16, 2026. Rumor, initial Villains Land plan scrapped, Imagineers told to dream bigger. Apparently, Len Testa, the one half of the Disney Dish podcast with Jim Hill there, who's been in this community for such a long time. I mean, he has been doing Q analysis for like 30 years. I mean, really awesome stuff. Interesting fellow for sure. But apparently Len Testa himself has sources within the company who were alluding to him that the initial plans for Villains Land were scrapped, and apparently Josh Giamaro may have been part of that initiative to think bigger, think bolder. I think it was cost secondary, I believe is what part of the quote was there. Well, now you have Walt Disney World News Today saying, rumor debunked! Villains Land was already big and bold. No plans have changed for Magic Kingdoms by Tom Corliss himself. This February 24th, 2026. Over the last week, you've undeniably heard rumors. Soon to be Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro ordered Imagineers to go bigger and bolder on plans for the much anticipated Villains Land at the Magic Kingdom. We've remained silent on the topic in that time. Honestly, because we had heard nothing of the sort. However, according to those with knowledge on the subject, no such mandate has been made anytime recently. We'll go ahead and scroll down right here. With that being said, I think we have the source for the rumor. It's clear that plans for Villains Land grew exponentially ahead of the formal announcement in August of 2024. That would be at that D23 Expo. However, there have been zero signs that the project has been shaken up since last summer. You can see right here, these are the plans that Disney recently submitted for approval from both Sif Todd and Swift Mud, the South Florida Water Management District, okay? And those facilities right there, those two big facilities, and from what I understand, I guess this elongated one might actually be a train station, which is interesting. Which, by the way, I was told that that track wasn't going to change. Apparently it might, so we'll see. But anyway, so that being said, apparently, these facilities, which by the way, the square footage of which I think the largest one rivals maybe, Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith. Like it's nowhere near some of the largest show buildings that Disney's ever constructed. So a lot of people were kind of disappointed about, hey, we're losing Rivers of America for this. We're all looking forward to this. And yet these plans aren't necessarily as ambitious as maybe some would expect, right? From such a high profile land. Well, Tom Corliss goes on. The Villains Land is currently in the permitting phase, so there's little opportunity for buildings to change. That was my point, is that, look, if you would have to amend these filings to suggest that these initial plans have been scrapped, or for any to be added at the last minute. We should continue to expect 2 large-scale attractions as well as multiple shops and restaurants, all making up a land that is the focal point of Walt Disney Imagineering's efforts to cap off this era of unprecedented supercharged expansion. That doesn't mean we should expect anything short of extraordinary, though. I want to clarify that the purpose of this article is certainly not to villainize theme park rumors. There's often at least a nugget of truth to these things, something we learned very well over the 19 years that we've been participating in this community. Rumors are a very healthy and important part of this discourse that I certainly hope will continue sparking important conversations within our fandom. Okay, heard from Tom Corliss. I want to go ahead and give it over to you guys first before going over Len Testa's expanded thoughts on this. But in your mind, after having heard the story now a couple of times, what do you take from this? Do you think that this rumor has any legitimacy, or, I mean, to Walt Disney World News Today's point, Tom Corliss's point, do you think that it was always going to be big, and this is as big as we can expect here with these submitted plans?
Hey, Ron, you want to take it, or you want me to go ahead?
No,
first?
well, I was just going to say, I mean, look, what can change? Okay, so we know this from Splash Mountain changing to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, right? We know this from Dinosaur changing over to Indiana Jones. Okay, the facilities that house those attractions are the same facilities. So what can change is what is going in these buildings. So if Josh D'Amaro said, okay, I mean, he could go to Imagineering and say, okay, you're going to do this with this facility, but now we want you to do this with this facility. That's always a possibility of change. I just I don't really. That being said, that's not what it sounded like the rumor was. What it sounded like the rumor was when we first heard it. The rumor was Josh D'Amaro was going to the Imagineering department and saying, scrap everything that you've put down, and we're gonna rethink the whole idea. Well, that's basically what could not be done once you've got this permitting going on. However, what could easily change is anything from this concept art, as we've seen with Disney Imagineering over the last few years. Typically, the concept art Disney has been giving us is not does not always line up with the actual product in the end. So,
that is correct. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah, I was just wondering, maybe the whole redo was because they're trying to figure out where to put Captain Durag now.
No,
that's true.
Into theme park wizard's point. Thank you so much, theme park wizard, for always giving us your facts, because they are facts. There are 3 permits being pulled, so we know we have 3 attractions. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again: Villains Land cannot be mediocre. It must be magnificent, because it's going to rival Dark Universe. Dark Universe is a small land, as you know. It only has 2 attractions, and I believe a walk-up area where you can grab and eat, and then a dine-in area, and then there's a couple of other things you can do in there. But if they do Villains Land properly and allocate all the space that they have and just theme it and go all out, go all in, and the sidelines and everything is just perfect, it could beat Dark Universe if it's done properly. If it's done mediocrely and they slash, costs to save money and not do it right, that it's going to show, and Dark Universe will continue to rise because it is popular. People are flying everywhere to go see Dark Universe, to experience the original monsters from Universal's classic films. And
that's because Monsters Unchained is amazing.
It's amazing.
Like Monster, yeah, that's a fantastic one. I'll just say, like, right now though, if anybody wants to preview Disney Villains, the Bob Iger building is open in New York, and you can just go there. You have a building named after a major Disney villain. You can actually go watch The View in there. So that's a whole bunch of other Disney villains.
Oh man, that is pretty
That's
good.
Bob leaving. You heard him.
Right. Yeah, well, I get that. Erika, before I throw it to you, and I want to go over what Len Testa said in response to the story really blowing up. I think it was bigger than what he quite imagined, but he goes on to explain some of these things. And to your point, quality I think is most important for Disney, but the points that he brings up I think are really profound here. I have a transcript of the Disney Dish podcast in which Jim and Testa actually talked about this. Now I wasn't able to hear it, so I can't delineate between maybe who's talking, but let's just say this information is featured in there. So the podcast goes on here, says, last Saturday afternoon, I posted these 3 sentences in a Walt Disney World Magic Forum thread about Piston Peak and Villains Land. I'm hearing the initial plans for Villains Land have been scrapped. Imagineers have been told to think bigger, bolder ideas, budget secondary. Then I went about my day. Apparently, it was a slow news week because that got picked up on Monday by the wider Disney social media community. Quote, going viral is what the kids, I think, call it. This is very interesting. Understandably, some folks have expressed doubts or skepticism about what I said. That's fair. I could be wrong. And words like scrapped, the specific word I was told, don't work well with the level of scrutiny my 3 sentences got. He goes on, this rethink started over Christmas, Jim. You investigated this independently from me, and you can confirm that. Yes, and Jim, you, me, and our friends now have more than enough sources to confirm the basics of the story. So in terms of what he has been saying, what he's saying here, he's saying, look, this is a firm. There is a rethink going on. Again, if there is, we should see it on amended permit filings. If we don't, I think Ron is exactly right. Whatever's in these structures, that's what changes, not necessarily the structures or the key components of the land themselves from a larger perspective. Now, they go over in a lot of this in depth. I want to bring up something here. The most important metric that management will use to determine the success of Villains Land is how much it raises per cap revenue. Of course, absolutely, there's no question. A lot of people talk about attendance. It's all about per cap. So, folks, it's all about how much money per guest you can get out of them. The additional amount of money each guest spends in Walt Disney World once Villains Land opens. It's not guest satisfaction, not IAPA industry awards for ride design. It's money. So you can understand almost every decision Disney makes based on how much money it gives back to shareholders. Yes, that works both ways, right? So you spend a lot of money, maybe you make a lot of money, but then you could also reduce how much money you make. That way you take more profit back with you, like we saw with like Olaf, for example. You can see right here, I guarantee you that Disney management has paid attention to what Comcast management has been saying on earnings calls about how Epic Universe is raising per cap revenue in Orlando. Comcast has said that people spend more money in Epic than in other parks and that they're staying longer at Universal as a result. That means dining in more restaurants and spending more time in the park where they're buying more merch. Disney has 3 direct ways to measure per cap spending on Villains Land: Lightning Lane revenue, restaurant revenue, and merch sales. Hotel rooms and length of stay would probably be 4th, because by the time Villains opens, we'll have a lot of other stuff open. Hard to be certain that a hotel stay is entirely because of one specific project like that. You can tease it out in the statistics, maybe even ask it in a survey, but the other things are the more straightforward way that count. Lightning Lane is the most important because it's a digital product that's like 90 to 95% profit. I'm guessing restaurant margins are like 50%. I'm not sure what merch margins are. They might be more, but I don't know how to account for markdowns, etc. He goes on to say that, look, Lightning Lane, right? If you add that to an experience, the experience has to be so good that it justifies Lightning Lane being on that attraction for like 10 years, right? And we've seen that fluctuate internally with Disney.
Yes.
Like, for example, I think Tiana was a single pass Lightning Lane attraction until it was removed from that, right? It didn't necessarily justify having a single pass distinction.
That's why we lost Tom Sawyer's Island, because there's no Lightning Lane for the
exactly.
Yeah, that's why.
This is what Jeff Ali's saying with underutilized.
Yeah.
It's not about if people were visiting, it's if they can make money for it per square foot.
Unbelievable,
right?
Because the entry fee is not enough, right?
No, the Lightning Lane Railroad to go visit Bluey. That's probably coming.
Right. Yeah. Well, that could be coming. We don't know. We have we had to wait for announcements on that. But okay, look, Radiator Springs Racers at Disney California Adventure opened in 2012. That is a Lightning Lane product today.
Yeah.
Okay, that was 14 years ago.
Wow.
Way before the implementation of Genie Plus or Lightning Lane, and when those products were made their debut, Radiator Springs Racers was immediately put on that list, and it has stayed on that list. He's saying, look, the main attraction in there has to be like 4-quadrant, and it has to be something that induces Lightning Lane sales to the extent that they maintain that on their system. The other thing that he's saying is, look, restaurants, Be Our Guest, for example, right?
Yeah.
Be Our Guest has a prefix menu. You can't go in there, split a meal between 4 guests. You all have to get, I think the prefix price, for dinner is well over $70 per person.
I still saved my receipt, Be Our Guest, and we're a family of 4. That's 2 children. At the time of the dinner, they were both under the age of 10. So that's 2 adults, 2 children under the age of 10. I walked out of there paying about $250, and that's with gratuity included, whatever. So they're going to have a Villains Land restaurant, and they're going to probably have villains that walk around, and they're going to make money. They're going to make.
I can't imagine them not having a bar as even maybe part of the restaurant. But if you've got Beacon Barrel was open probably to as a proof of concept that they can.
That's a great point.
If you can open Beacon Barrel and you get the people that are coming to Disney to be okay with that in the Magic Kingdom, and you soften, right? Lower that bar. Then I didn't even mean to say it. But
no pun intended.
Yeah, when you do that, then the family guests that are coming will then accept the fact that there's another bar and more and more and more
It's a
alcohol
copy
can be
and
added
it's a
because
copy and paste situation, Ron, because the Disney Cruise Line, they have a Corilla DeVille lounge, and they already had a Pirates themed lounge bar, if you will, on the Disney cruise ships before
well, they've got
the
a
Beacon
Haunted
Barrel
Mansion
opened.
lounge now.
They have the Haunted Mansion parlor, and now we're all assuming, which I don't think it's going to be a thing, but they're not going to put a Haunted Mansion parlor in the Magic Kingdom. What they might do is a Corilla DeVille lounge. I don't know.
I wouldn't put past it. I wouldn't put past them for anything. And I think Ron is exactly correct. I think that was a proof of concept for Magic Kingdom. And remember the original plans for Disney's, what was it, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, right? When Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was envisioned, it was always supposed to have a restaurant. The lounge was Oga's Cantina.
Yep.
Oga's Cantina was never supposed to be a standalone, restaurant facility. It was always supposed to be part of the bar and lounge concept that they had. Maybe they're rethinking that again and looking to implement that into Villains Land. I wouldn't put it past them.
Think about this: if you get Villains Land open and they can do a bar there, like an actual legit bar, well, guess what? Now people are accepting, hey, you got Beacon Barrel, that's a bar. Now you got Villains Land bar. Nothing wrong with making Gaston's Tavern into an actual bar as well, because, hey, it's already set up. It's Gaston's Tavern. You'd expect it, right? I mean, that's
It'd be themed to the film. You're not wrong. But I noticed the copy and paste from the Disney Cruise Line to the parks now. It's like, okay, we have a pirate lounge here. We're going to make Beacon Barrel. And then the Haunted Mansion parlor, we're going to do that here. I can see that. And then again, the Corilla DeVille lounge over on the Disney cruise ship is really cool. I watched the POV. It's not just getting a drink. It's an interactive show. And it's actually
you got a piano player there, right?
Exactly. And that would require Disney to hire an artist that plays the piano, and they're not trying to do that. They're trying to fill the parks with animatronics that are going to be entertaining you instead of hiring a live cast member to entertain you. But at the same time, it's like teasing, right? Because there's so many casting calls lately.
Yeah, MJ, come on, we got to put Rex in the corner, and that'll be your entertainment. We can't possibly hire another cast member in order to provide entertainment, in a restaurant facility like that. That would be crazy. That'd be wild, crazy stuff. Can't do that. No, the margins on this are particularly profound, right? So, like, if you think Be Our Guest, as Lynn Testa brought up, it's like, okay, you have $70 per, at minimum per guest that they spend for an experience for food that is like kind of mediocre, but people still opt to do it. And they're envisioning the same output here when it comes to Villains Land, whatever restaurant offering that it actually provides. Merch, obviously, that's going to be a big component, as has been illustrated by Bob Chapek and beyond, with consumer products being merged with parks and resorts. This, I think bigger, bolder, whatever, they're thinking about revenue generation with all of this stuff, right? And that's what's top of mind. I know Nathan here points out in the chat, it's like the fact that Lightning Lane sales are required for an area to be financially successful now is very sad. Look, it was already bad. I remember hearing back in the day, no project from Imagineering gets approved unless it can pay itself back in 5 years. Think about that.
That's insane.
And think about the prospect of an original attraction under that mindset, right? Who would ever bankroll an original attraction that is unproven versus a franchise or IP that is very well proven? And so that's one of the components by which original storytelling has gone away at Imagineering. But they are financing these things. They're looking at the 10-year plan. It's got to pay itself back in 5. You're looking at profitability, extreme profitability by 10. That's what's going into this kind of equation right here. And, if we get admitted filings for Villains Land, hey, maybe they are going bigger and bolder. Fact remains, though, is that these have been filed. This conversation apparently took place back in December, which was, I think, before these permits were filed. So I'm cautiously optimistic, more cautious than anything else, because we've seen the quality of work output from recent Imagineering projects. Erika, please get on in here. What do you think about all
Ooh,
this?
I'm just taking it all in and listening to all the points, and there's no question about it. We're getting a villain's land. To what scale is going to be anyone's guess, and we're going to be picking this apart until it finally comes to fruition, so we can pick it apart again once it gets here in whatever way, you know. In terms of the per capita, that's a really good question. They really need to bring it to convince people to spend money and to keep coming back to spend more money. This is their flagship park. I get they're competing with just a mere land at Epic Universe, but this is also the Magic Kingdom. They cannot really afford to screw this one up. I get, the whole villain attraction with Disney adults. I'm not a fan of the villain thing. Most of them are all dead from their movies. I don't understand why they need to roaming the parks. I will never in a million years ever understand that. If you're dead, you're dead. There is no meeting you. That aside, this land, it better look every bit as whimsical. And I'm talking like dark arts, dark whimsical, not, not like fairies and princesses. This is on the opposite scale of whimsical. This leans into like dark arts, for lack of better words.
Dark fantasy, yeah.
Yeah, yep. Dark fantasy. The aesthetic really needs to be there in this land. The merch better be every bit as aesthetically pleasing. They better really get to know their goth community, because though it's gone more underground and it isn't as open as it used to be in the 90s, it is still a thing. You got what's the new goth thing that's going on now? The pastel goth, I think is what it's called, where they lean into more of the pastel colors, but it is still a goth aesthetic, which is why a lot of these kids or teens, young adults are leaning into the Hello Kitty Sanrio surprise, because a lot of that kind of there is a gothicness to that. There is like a subculture to that, and I would hate to get into this land and then see the cheesiest looking lounge flies that are in these bold primary colors, like your bright purples and bright gold and bright red and black. No, it has got to be like Tim Burton, spooky, but whimsical, because you're Disney. I'm not saying to copy Tim Burton, but that's the level of whimsicalness that the immersive, the feeling needs to be when I'm walking through that land, and then you'll get me to spend some money. The food.
Are you saying that they need to be on point with their shape language?
And so what we've tried to do is really bring that shape language from the architecture.
But like what we love to talk about at WDI is shape language. And we often refer to shape language.
There's such iconic shape language in Spaceship Revetti Attraction. We really wanted to make sure that we fused to that throughout the space.
I mean, I know.
Cut out for a second. Everything froze for me.
Oh, sorry. We got the shape language flip in there.
Sachi's fault.
To Erika's point. Oh, please go ahead.
I'm thinking also from the financial part, now that you've broken down, Vash, why we're getting such mediocrity out of Imagineering, because of this, spending per capita, they're kind of forced in a way to have to go in a direction that is going to pay itself back in 5 years. And I cannot imagine being under that kind of pressure and stress as an Imagineer. To me, that's just unfair, because you go to Universal and it seems like they didn't care about any of that. They just created for the sake of creating. And guess what? Oh, I don't know. It just happened to make money. Whatever happened to just dreaming big, and the money will naturally come. Your shareholders will be happy. The money will come if you allow your Imagineering to do what they were basically born to do, and it's so irritating to hear that, because they're so focused on spreadsheets and charts, and bottom lines. I wish some of these shareholders, they're just as human as the rest of us. I wish some of them would step up and say what we're saying. The money will naturally come. Can you just please get in there and create something that makes me want to take even my family into these parks and spend my own money while I'm making money here? I don't know.
There are some board members that are upset. The shareholders. Sorry, I keep saying board members. There's a lot of
cut of the same fabric, as far as I'm concerned. They all got money we don't have.
The institutional shareholders control so much. BlackRock and Vanguard control so much, and that's a huge issue when you have creative companies. You see, you go back to the beginning of the MCU. The MCU, when it first started off as this major gamble, even before Disney owned it, the idea was we're going to take the lowest level characters that we still have the rights to and create something out of them. And thank God Iron Man worked, because if RDJ didn't do the job right, if that whole thing didn't come together, if it didn't work, none of it would have worked, right? But it did. And so the little pings of the movies were all about creating the best story that people would love first. And then they came together, the Avengers happened, right? And then once the Avengers happened, people were into it, but they were still creating awesome stories like Guardians of the Galaxy, like Ant-Man when it first came out. It was the whole idea. I will say Ant-Man was probably the first one to start to get corporatized, really, because they took it away from Edgar Wright left that project because he didn't like that whole idea behind it. But then it started to go to formula, and then it became about what's the formula for how we make money, rather than let's just give the people a good product that they will love, and then the money will come back.
But that's the thing. Do they have the ability to, Ron? That's the thing.
I think they do.
Can they?
If they were a DEI, if they didn't have to be so focused. This last 5, 6, however many years, they've been so focused on making sure that we communicate to this 0.5% of the population, or we communicate to this 0.5% of the population, and in so doing, you lose your creativity to create for everybody. That's the hugest problem with the inclusion key, is you get so focused on those that you're including that you exclude everyone else without even thinking about it, and you've completely lost the whole point of the key, which is to include as many people as possible. You
lose sight of your core values.
And when you do that, you're distracted from actually creating.
It's a very good point. I know that this land will include they call conjured architecture. They're taking inspiration from some of the Parisian styles out there, Art Nouveau for sure. You can see some of the inspirations. I mean, we've been showing it in some of the montages here. You can see the research trips that Disney has been conducting and looking at the architectural styles that they have been studying right here to get a sense of what we might expect. I don't know if they're going to be able to execute this level of detail.
I hope that they're putting as much research into this as they put into the research of the people that they sent to New Orleans for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, because we know how accurate that turned out.
2 years, 2 years, Ron. They did
terrible.
2 years.
They went and partied and got drunk and didn't do jack anything with research. That was
Do you
just a
remember
paid that was a paid
Yeah, it
vacation was what it was.
I agree with
remember
Erika
that-
because even the story when you're on Tiana's ride, it doesn't make any sense
Doesn't make any sense.
at all.
Yeah,
if you come down the one ramp and you were greeted with servers saying volcano and sparklers coming out of a big cake, you would know, like, oh, Rainforest Cafe, this totally makes sense now.
They could save Tiana. The cheapest way to do that would be just to go through and re-storyline it to just the storybook attraction.
Yeah.
You know, just make it a storybook attraction. And by the very end, she's wearing her big, beautiful ball gown, you know, and it's like a marriage ceremony. You know, her and, you know, I forget his name, they get married, Prince Naveen, you know. And that it would be some kind of redemption to the disaster of what it was that we've gotten, you know. And Tiana the character deserves a lot better.
Absolutely, because
I totally agree.
Whatever, and even like little girls, you know, that look up to Tiana, you know, they don't want to. They don't want to wear her brown exploration getup. No, my 6-year-old self is like, I want to wear the gown. I want to wear the glitzy, pretty stuff, you know, with the crown and my hair done up and the glitter on my body and all the makeup, you know, and. Lord forbid a girl want to be a girl.
Spice enough for you? I thought at the end it's a very special spice.
But you know, I wanted the bars real quick. I have a feeling what might happen is if they do bring a bar into that area of the park, and most likely they will, because you have to think of the Halloween party that they have every year, and they're going to want to monetize on Mickey's Halloween party. And you think the prices are expensive now? Just wait.
That's a good point.
Just wait on those. Just wait on those tickets, and people will pay because they're going to be curious what they're going to bring to the table during that season. Now, that aside, as far as a bar is concerned, I could see them not putting in a Haunted Mansion bar. And I'll tell you why. Because they're going to want you to book that vacation on a cruise to see that bar. So why would they put it in the parks? And you know, it's redundancy. What I could see is maybe a multi-villain where they include all the villains and create a bar that's touches on all the villains. How they would do that, I don't know, because each villain has a completely different aesthetic to the other.
Right.
Erika, you bring up an amazing point. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween is going to be like 2.0 with Villains Land if they do it right.
Yeah, they'll make their money back probably just based on that alone. The tickets are gonna sell out, or at least for the first 2 years. I think the first year it's really gonna sell out. The second year probably again. After that, we'll see how it legs out. We'll see, you know, what's going to happen. And because it could be one of those things where they build this, it's popular for 1 or 2 years, and then it just kind of dies off, and they're not getting that spending per capita that they wanted. And it's like, well, because you half-assed it. You know,
I mean, that's what happened with Galaxy's Edge, right? Galaxy's Edge poured a lot of money in, expecting big returns, and Milk Stand is empty. Oh, that's not
the
good.
Milk Stand is empty. Oh, no.
And you don't want that in your flagship park. That's my point. Maybe there is some truth to DeMauro coming in and saying, you know what, this needs to be bigger and better, because I think he, as a parks guy, has an understanding that this is our flagship park. We cannot afford to screw this up in the Magic Kingdom.
That's a good point. Ron,
and
please,
think about this. Think about this too. We don't have a name for Villains Land yet. Cars Land is going to be called Piston Peak, right? The Tropical America is going to be called Pueblo Esperanza. We have a name, we have a theme. We don't have.
Pablo
we don't know what Villains Land. We don't know. Pueblo Esperanza is.
Oh, I thought you said Pablo Escobar. I'm so sorry.
No. That's the name for the Tropical Americas, but we don't have a name for Villains Land yet. We don't know who's going to anchor it. We don't know what villains are going to be highlighted. So all of those ideas those are the types of ideas, since we don't have it yet, are the things that Josh tomorrow could have been talking about when he was talking to Imagineering.
Yeah.
If he, maybe he knew that it was going to be called something, and it's going to Imagineering, going, like, you know what, we got to rethink, we got to blah blah. What those ideas of what's going in the facilities can change. The facilities themselves, they're already there. They're already in the plans, but it'll be interesting to see what we finally get when we do get Villains Land.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about that. I think we're all very intrigued about this, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding it. You know, I think Cars was the thing that they really wanted to showcase, like the thing that they really want to implement, and that's why it's being fast-tracked. That's why we have multiple pieces of concept art. We have ride vehicles, concepts, and all that kind of stuff. But Villains Land is a big open question. Another open question, too, at least on the West Coast, Avatar, that's for sure. We haven't gotten much explanation for that either. But the company initiatives, the things that Disney is really excited about, you can see, at least in these initial announcements, just like Ron pointed out. How much do we know of each one? That tells you how much of an emphasis they're placing on each. And Ron brought up something very, very interesting. Going to cover this very, very shortly here. But K Dodgers 24 over there on Twitter or X, he caught something that I think was very interesting. I can't play the audio, unfortunately, at least with this first clip right here, because it's just heavily copyrighted. But let's see if I can enlarge this for you. So she's supposed to be singing in this segment right here, and well, the mouse not moving. Again, these are new projectionless faces right here.
She's a ventriloquist.
At least it has a face.
And that's true. She's supposed to be singing, mouth not moving.
That's
Not
really
good.
sad. It's having another Tiana moment here. Unbelievable.
Oh, and there's more.
Oh,
So
no.
Anna and Elsa are supposed to be singing as well. Elsa is, at least in this scene. Anna is not, and she looks a little jury right there.
She looks like
What kind of
Ariana
expression
Grande.
is that? It looks a little,
she's-
yeah. She's
and her
she's
eyes
looking-
to me.
She is no. She's not skinny enough to be Ariana Grande, but you can see right here, she's just not going along, and so now a lot of people are like, "Uh-oh, are we going to see?" Like MJ pointed out, are we going to see Tiana like maintenance and operational uptime associated with this attraction as well? Not good. Hopefully they get these things adjusted out, but I just want to go ahead and bring this up that at least on K Dodgers 24's visit didn't go so well.
No, look,
But,
Vash, Vash, they can get away with
Yes.
this on this attraction because it's called Frozen.
that's true. That's a good point right there. I think we have. Yep. Thank you so much, MJ. And we also have right there.
I don't
That's
have
the
that one, Vash. You have the fancy keyboard thingy. I just have whatever StreamYard provides.
Well, we'll have to build out that repository of sound effects. Now,
Oh my god!
something that's being built out at least a little bit might be E.T. Adventure, your favorite dark ride over there at Universal Studios. I know it's mine.
I love ET.
No, E.T.'s absolutely fantastic. But this comes from Theme Park Wizard here, who's always right on the case when it comes to these
Yep.
notice of commencements and permits filed over there at Universal Studios Hollywood and Disneyland, actually. You can see right here, this is a notice of commencement filed by Universal for the E.T. Adventure. And you can see this actually goes all the way until November 5th, 2028. So a lot of people, so a lot of people are thinking like, whoa, what is going on here? Is this attraction going to get, overhauled? It is a big refurbishment incoming, it would appear. So guys, this is a much beloved attraction. What would you guys want to see from a big time not reimagining, but just refresh?
Okay, a
from this?
refresh is okay, even though I love the E.T. smell of ET when I walk into that attraction in the queue. Oh my gosh, they better not get rid of that smell. I'm going to have it.
I don't.
So you're saying that these are simultaneously being filed. So Hollywood and Orlando are both getting a refresh. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's the unfortunate thing about Hollywood. Hollywood's was removed for the Mummy.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
I want to say, I don't even know when that. I have to look it up. Let me look it up real fast. I'll tell you when that went down.
But then in
Super
Florida,
tragic.
we lost the Mummy, right?
No, we have it.
It's still there?
Yes, it's still there in all its
Okay.
glory. Thank you, God. Please do not touch the
Oh,
Mummy.
I'm thinking of Twister then.
Yeah,
I think that
Twister's
was the
gone.
one.
Yeah, Twister's gone.
It is terrible. I remember when it closed at Universal Studios Hollywood. Really sad. We have some footage in this of Steven Spielberg running the attraction. Apparently, Steven Spielberg very, very upset. Theme Park Wizard coming in here 2004. Yes. Remember that. Super sad because we not only lost out on an amazing dark ride that was very four quadrant, but we lost out on an amazing dark ride for a roller coaster fit into the same building. Now, dark ride travels very slow. Coasters travel very fast. So what do you think the quality of experience that is? Well, it's a very short coaster, as one can probably imagine right there. So a lot of it was a big letdown to people losing ET for
I
that.
have a
And
very
apparently
big
Steven-
question regarding this, Vash. I'm so sorry.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Spielberg have some kind of agreement, or there's something in writing that cannot allow Universal to pull this attraction out of the park? Or I could be wrong.
Okay. I will say Spielberg has a lot of sway. I don't know if it's enshrined that this can never be removed, but he was very upset that Hollywood got rid of this version of the attraction. Okay. Like, he was extremely upset that it was replaced with Mummy and all of that. And so he vowed never to lose this, the East Coast version anyway.
Okay.
And there were, I mean, you remember that E.T. almost, was put out to pasture in favor of Nintendo before that idea was brought to Epic Universe. You can see right there. That's the Hollywood version of the attraction. You can see the ET 25th anniversary on there. So sad. Go ahead, Ron, please.
Goodness.
I was just going to say, looking at the, having been on this attraction fairly recently, there are refurbishments that could be done. You could update the animatronics for sure. And there's a lot of animatronics in there, like that. They're low level animatronics. It's one of those things where you, like, when you get on, and they give you the card that asks for your name, and it's really fun. And you're leaving the attraction, and ET's like thanking everybody that's right. Goodbye, Ron. So I love that
because it's so stacked, right? It's so
but it works though. I still love the experience of it. There's something, I don't know what it is about these old fashioned kind of dark, slow rides, but they are still magical to me to this very day. The technology is ancient, but there's a reason why Peter Pan is still, which is the same exact technology, right? Peter Pan.
It has the longest, most times it has the longest wait at the Magic Kingdom. Yes.
Right. And there's a reason for that. I know it sounds silly when you're flying over a set that you're only 10 feet above, but you're supposed to look like you're hundreds of feet above. But it just works. And I don't know. It just, it says it's supposed to get a computer overall like Jurassic, but yeah, that makes sense that they
Park
will
Wizard
want
with
to
the facts.
they'll want
like
to
software updates.
this. So, I mean, I think that updating a ride, making sure the technology works, making sure that this ride can, if what they are doing is ensuring that this attraction can go on and be updated and people can still enjoy it years and years from now, especially with where it's located right off adjacent to the new DreamWorks land. It just works really, really well, and it's just a fun attraction. I still, to this very day, ET is one of the properties I just don't understand why they haven't created that sequel to this movie when you still have Drew Barrymore alive and some of the other actors that were in the original movie. Like, I'm like, this movie is just waiting to write itself, where ET or a version of ET comes back, because ET doesn't have to age the same way that humans do. So it'd be really interesting. ET comes back and interacts with the adults that were kids back then, and they still haven't done it. I mean, they can keep this very relevant to today. There's lots of ways to do it. Unfortunately, we lost Back to the Future for the Simpsons, and there's a really good chance that could potentially come back. So.
ET is one of the main reasons why most of us fell in love with the extraterrestrial and the thought of life in another planet. They need to just leave it alone. As much as I love your idea, I think that this film is so well. In the era that it came out, it is a staple in the majority of our childhoods. Everyone in this live chat, everyone on the panel, we all grew up watching this film, and it's just like, it's your perfect family movie. You can, any day of the week, you could just sit down. Okay, we're going to watch ET tonight. And it's like a thing. This ride cannot go anywhere. It
it's
just
also
has to be
the reason that
fresh, and that's it. Don't touch the ride, please.
It's also the reason that anybody ever bought Reese's Pieces. So that's
there you go.
Reese's
Exactly.
Huge.
Do you know how upset I get when I get to the end of the ride, I get to the shop and they don't sell Reese's Pieces in the freaking
You're right.
shop
Good
there?
point.
Universal, if you're listening,
Never understood that.
With ET on the bag, and so Universal, if you're listening, please put that in your gift shop. We would love Reese's Pieces with ET's face on it. Thank you.
So good. So good.
Contact Hershey.
That's true. It's
Mars?
Because,
I think it's Mars.
Oh yeah, it could be Mars.
Is it Mars?
Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you might be right. But ever since I think Lost World, Steven Spielberg doesn't do sequels, so it's unlikely that we might get something like that. But I do see Ron's point. It would be very fascinating to explore this world once again, especially from maybe ET's perspective when it comes to other places, like the ride certainly does. Very interesting stuff there. Erika, I mean, this is a very beloved attraction right here. I hope it's not going away. Now I'll go ahead and highlight Wizard's points here, and I'll go ahead and throw it to you formally. It's supposed to go down January 2027. Might be down for an entire year. That includes supposed to get a big computer overhaul like what Jurassic Park is getting right now. That attraction going down for about a year as well. So, aging attractions, trying to keep them up.
Yeah.
Would you like to see anything from a refreshed ET experience, or keep it the same?
I have not been on the ride in so long. I've kind of forgotten a lot of the scenes. It's been over 20 years since I've
to his world. That's what's so cool. Is like you go to, it's actually, it's really interesting, this particular attraction, because you do go to ET's planet, right?
He's so cute.
And it's a place, I know, it's so cute. It's a place you go to in an attraction that you've never seen in a movie. So that makes it really, really interesting.
It extends beyond the movie, because in the movie you don't get to see where ET comes from, which and to Ron's point, they could have brought in a sequel and explored that, land or a planet, if you will, where ET comes from. Now, how they would storyline it, I don't know. But at the same time, there is franchise fatigue, so maybe it's a good thing that ET is being kept sacred. It's just the one movie, and that's all that's needed. We don't really get that a whole lot nowadays.
Amen, Erika.
So
yeah, you say that, but I still would have rather had that than West Side Story. I mean, if Spielberg's gonna do something, I'm just saying. I
will say, refresh, like light refurbs are always good with these attractions, especially older ones. They have to go through software updates, technology changes, getting it's like having an old computer is kind of hard to keep up after so long, because they stop making certain parts, or like this NVIDIA thing is like the thing now. That's commonplace. I have an older laptop that doesn't even have that technology in it. And it is a world of difference between the two laptops, my newer one and my old one. Sometimes you are just forced to have to, change things, not change, but, technologically advance things. Yeah. And then give it a good cleaning. Because one thing about some of these old dark rides, I've noticed, and this is in all theme parks. This is worldwide. The dust and the dirt. They got to get in there.
There's a lot of like fog and stuff, so they have to make sure there's no mold, because we're waiting in the queue line for this is outstanding for it being the age that it is, and I'm sure there's got to be some kind of like cleaning or mold removal, which I'm glad, but they need to
get in there and scrub it and paint updates. Sometimes you got to get in there.
Please don't get rid of this.
And give it painting updates, maybe lighting updates, and lighting technology and lighting changes over the years too, and all the different hues and dimming features. All that's come a long way over the years, and I mean. Yeah. And that kind of stuff doesn't take long. You're not overhauling it. You're just giving it a refresh,
It's just scary, because what they're doing with the river, Jurassic Park River Adventure, we're assuming that it's going to be overhauled and turned into the Jurassic World one, which I won't mind personally. I like that idea. I'm not against it. But what else could they do with ET? Because there is no sequel. There's no other films that follow the original film. So I really wish that they would just leave the attraction the way it is, refresh it, update it, update the technology, do whatever software updates you have to do for the computers, but just leave it the way it is.
I do wish Universal would release this movie once every so many years in the theaters to give it another, cool. To give it an kind of like how Disney used to do with the Vault, E.T., the only way kids are knowing about it is if Gen X is intentionally showing it to Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Other than that, it's just a cute ride with a cute little alien. But if the kids aren't really watching the movie, they don't really know who E.T. is or what the story is. But it would be kind of cool if Universal would really hype it up, put it out into theaters again every so many years, to give it another boost and let another generation, and it'd be fun, Gen X taking the kids and grandkids to the movies to go see, a beloved classic 80s movie.
Did they do anything for the 40th anniversary, Vash? Because it's 44 years old this year, and I'm wondering, I can't think if they did anything special for the 40th anniversary, but the 45th is coming up next year.
It is coming up. I don't remember them doing a big push for the 40th anniversary.
I wish they would.
I remember like merch or something around that time, but man,
you're right, Erika. Or they're saving it for the 50th anniversary,
and that's to keep it relevant. Yeah, but 50 years is too long. Like, they need to be doing this every maybe 5 years or 10 years, at minimum, and to keep it fresh and relevant. Otherwise, it's going to end up, and I hate to say it, but as we all know this, in the theme park world, not nothing is really sacred, in the in the lifespan of a human life and in the lifespan of theme parks. So if Universal wants to keep monetizing on this, just like Disney, had Disney not let Muppets go the way that they did, it would have held the relevancy. People would, you would have a whole at least 2 generations of kids that would have identified with the Muppets, and merch would have been sold. They would have been relevant, but Disney didn't do anything to promote the Muppets for Gen Z or Gen Alpha. And I hate for Universal to repeat that, but with E.T.
I agree with you. Hopefully we keep this attraction relevant. It looks like they are working towards that effort. If they're building out technological infrastructure for this attraction, especially in a big way, usually they budget that stuff over years, as we previously brought out. So I would think I wouldn't say that this attraction is necessarily in danger, at least not yet.
Not
Especially
yet,
with
yeah,
Steven
not right
Spielberg
now.
Still,
but down
yeah.
the road, you know,
Down
as
the
we
road,
all,
you never know.
as Gen Z and Gen Alpha get older and they start having
yes.
kids, that's what I'm worried about when you're getting into
Right.
like future down the road, like 10, 20 years from now. And I don't want to see that. Like if they want to keep this going, release the movie into theaters and keep it alive.
There you go.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely re-releases with ET. That'd be cool. We've seen Universal do that with Back to the Future a lot. ET,
Exactly.
very, very cool. Would love to see that. Also, too, you mentioned Jurassic Park.
The River Adventure,
MJ.
yeah, at Orlando.
At least the most recent rumors that I've heard, Jurassic Park is staying, and that might actually have to do with Steven Spielberg as well.
Good.
Which is very, very interesting.
Good.
But giving these attractions new leases on life, Erika's exactly right. They do have a lifespan, and so you do have to overhaul them occasionally in order to be able to service them well into the future. But speaking of
Jurassic Park also took some major damage during one of the hurricanes.
Yes.
Recently too,
Oh,
and
there's no doubt our attractions will drive kids out of their minds.
That's right.
Love it.
No, Ron, to your point, they took major damage during Hurricane. Was it Irma?
it might have been. It was. Well, I know it was a couple years ago. It wasn't that long ago, and they had to. It was like the outside of the building was like
big hole. Yeah,
really big hole. But you know,
and they still have to service some of that stuff.
Yeah, when the Pirates of the Caribbean opened, the pirates didn't eat the guests.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Really spectacular. Spared no expense.
Yeah, John Hammond actually says that. He says this on open in 1956. Now, it's very interesting because it's like this really quick line. It's like, no, it opened in 55. But I've heard theories that demonstrates that John Hammond's not always 100% correct. So I thought that was very interesting with that little commentary in there. Anyway, that about wraps up our amazing program here. I'm looking at StreamYard, and it is saying we have 330 people watching. 88
Oh, yeah, you're
of
right.
you on YouTube. Huge, massive numbers right there. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. That would help us out tremendously. We have some announcements for you guys as well. So, put a poll. Okay, when would you like a night stream? Everybody said overwhelmingly Thursday. Thursday is the winner, both on X and on YouTube, which I thought was very, very interesting. Okay, we are going to have a live stream tomorrow evening. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to be 6 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock California time. That'll allow us for our West Coast friends to come on in and join in on the fun of Vash Sky ParkCast. And just booked next week, Wednesday. So the shows, this show will be consistent. Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, right? And then Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's the schedule that we have currently. 2 shows. We might do spontaneous things, but those are the 2 that are going to be current. That'll always reoccur. We just got confirmation that Drew Smith, Drew the Disney Dude, will be joining us on Wednesday. It's going to be Wednesday, March 4th, if I'm not mistaken, at our 2 p.m. slot right there. So that's going to be super, super cool. Awesome stuff. Cannot wait to talk to Drew about his interesting Substack article and his recent visit to Disney Resort, where he was able to talk to Disney leadership. And I can't wait to pick his brain with all of this stuff right here. So yes, Drew Smith, Drew Disney Dude, coming on this show. That's going to be really, really spectacular. But somebody who is spectacular in his own right and is on the show currently, beating out Drew, is Follow the Brothers Fun. Ron, what is going on? What is going on with your channel?
Well, gosh, it's funny. I just talked to Drew. Funny thing. Okay, so you talked about Drew, the Disney Dude. I talked to Drew the same day that I met up with MJ in the parks. We're like literally, I want to say 5 minutes after walking away from MJ, I ran into Drew at
funny.
Hollywood Studios. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to be on with him. Please invite me.
Come on in. Water's warm, man. Look at Sean, Ron.
I love Drew. Drew's great, and I've never been on a panel with him, and we covered Splash Mountain changeover together over to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Anyhow, so what is it? The Epic Universe vlog that I think is showing right now. I've got tonight at 7:30 p.m. we have The Dish, and I'm not sure who else is going to be my guests on that channel, but I think we're going to talk a little bit about Grace Randolph versus Nerdrotic and the stuff that the controversy she's creating in the pop culture world a little bit. We got to be careful about how we handle that, of course. But I want to deal with that because, of course, it involves some of our friends over at Nerdrotics and Geeks and Gamers and those types of people. And we got to stand up for those people that are good, that are being called out for things that they are not. It's just some of the things are simply not true, and I don't like it when that happens. So I'm going to stand up for my buddies. And
we got our fabulous mods are out there because they're not wrenches anymore. They have shields of armor.
Shields, yes.
Can you would you be so kind to follow the Bradley's Fun link in the live chat, please? I appreciate that so much.
And
a little bit of that.
Yeah, so we've got The Dish tonight at 7:30. Now our schedule, which is great because so you want an evening show on Wednesdays, The Dish, the evening show on Thursday with Vash, it'd be great. And then we've been working out our schedule, and I will do Mondays after That Park Place. Like this slot on Monday, this is kind of great. Actually, if you guys are tuned in, you know that you're going to get me after That Park Place on Monday, Vash after That Park Place on Wednesday, and Erika after That Park Place on Friday, which is really, really cool. And then I'm also doing The Dish on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. after the WDW Pro show. So, we are. It's funny because we are all friends and we try to coordinate this and be friendly and not step on toes, and at the same time we're also we love each other. Like you guys, I swear some of the people out in the audience, they don't know, but like we really are friends. It's so true to life. And we're kind of family,
friend in me.
We make plans together too, because it's going to be a big party when I get back to the States.
Woo!
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
We're going to rent out the Star Wars themed Airbnb and the pirate ship.
I'm going to have to rent one of those massive 10-bedroom, Airbnbs there in the middle of like Orlando. And just invite
bring
everybody.
Me back one of those hamburgers from Germany, one of the, that you don't
gross.
know anything about.
A hamburger all the way from Germany.
You want mold on your burger?
Yeah, he does. We want the mold from ET on the burger.
That's disgusting.
Yikes. Well, you can follow the Bradley and all his fun. Follow the Bradley's fun right there. Erika, what is going on over there with hanging with Erika and Raph? What do you got going on over there in the channel?
Well, same meanness as usual. Every Friday. Every Friday after That Park Place at 2 p.m. Yeah, Raph shows up because it's the only day of the week I can snag him where he's not incredibly tired after a 40-hour week. And yeah, we just sit around shooting the bull. I do have some specific topics for Friday with the travel industry. And not necessarily theme park related. So that's one thing I am trying to do with our channel is I know we talk a lot of theme parks throughout the sphere. So I'm trying to, yes, we'll talk theme parks, but I also want to talk about other things. There's so much more to me and Raph than just theme parks. So we like talking about all kinds of stuff. I mean, cool. Everything from sports to even like Halloween, food. We love food, travel in general, places we've been, experiences we've had. It's just a place for everyone to hang out, get to know us, and us get to know you guys. In this community, and it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot more successful than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's what we want. Success. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. And love the show, Brood Banner. Super, super good.
Yeah,
awesome,
we called it
awesome
Brood.
Stuff.
We call it the stream Brood Banter, but the channel is hanging with Erika and Raph. So it kind of coincides. You're hanging out with us.
Right, of course. Absolutely. Definitely hang out with Erika and Raph over there on Brew Banter and on their amazing YouTube channel. Definitely a lot of fun. There's no question about that. But also somebody that you might want to hang with, I guess, is MagicalyMJ. Hello there, MagicalyMJ, producer extraordinaire on this channel right here, doing a great, fantastic job. Please tell everybody once again where they can find you over there on your social medias.
I'm on Instagram and X, but I gotta say thank you so much for having me on again. You guys are the reason why we keep going. You guys are amazing. Everyone on the panel, everybody in the live chat. This community is fantastic. Keep pushing, believe in yourself, and just every day is a gift. And to be a part of this community and with these fine people full of knowledge and talent and skills is just astronomical. It's the best part of waking up, and I don't do Folgers. This is just fabulous. And I want to thank Vash for everything. And being his producer is more than words can explain. Ron said it perfectly. We are friends and we are all here for each other. It's a respectable community and we just adore. Yeah, he's frozen.
He is doing the WW Pro impression, I believe.
Frozen.
It is.
Elsa froze him. It's cold in Orlando, right, Ron? I'm freezing. I have a turtleneck
Yes.
and I'm in South Florida.
That was my pro impression, yes.
That was the pro impression.
cold.
I can't do the voice, but yeah.
I got the Folgers jingle in my head now. Thanks, MJ.
I know you like old commercials, Erika, but yes, I am on so many different channels and I just ramble. I'm so sorry. So I'm on That Park Place Mondays and Wednesdays at 12. I'm hanging out with great people on the panel. I'm on Follow the Bradleys Fun on the Dish. It's so much fun hanging out with Erika and Raph, getting to know them. And I just can't wait for them to come down to the United States. It's going to be a party in the USA. Sorry, Miley, not your way, our way.
I got that song in my head now. Party.
And being on Vash Sky ParkCast is a blessing. Everybody here, God bless you. Never give up any dream you have because sky is the limit. And now is the time to do it because tomorrow's not promised. And, if we're all here, you can do it too. Whatever it is that you have in your heart desire, just get it done. Just remember what Walt said, all the knowledgeable things that Walt gave us and we grew up with, right? Never stop dreaming. And a dream is a wish your heart makes. So just do it and live it up and just be so happy to be alive.
Yes, I
So
remember
good.
all those times that Walt talked about shape language. No, wait, that was
Yes.
We're going to give Sachi a break. I'm not going to play Sachi anymore.
no such.
Thank you.
Oh boy. Well, hey, everybody on here is doing incredible things in their own way, and I'm so grateful that they brought their amazingness to this show to really make it what it is. Thank you so much, and thank you to all of our mods out there, by the way, keeping that chat clean and helping people out where appropriate right there. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Vash Sky ParkCast. We cannot wait to go live for you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. Live stream is going to be put up momentarily. Thank you so much for watching here. Let's see if we have we got a little music there for you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.